We all know Uber, the transportation technology company from California. The Uber app connects drivers to riders in cities all over the world. The goal of Uber is to make cities easier to get around in and provide a quick, easy, and reliable service for the riders. Uber is used by a wide range of people, from the college student to the working professional. The company and its drivers have spread across the globe, from the United States to Asia, and have forever changed the way people get around. Most of us know Uber for its cheap, convenient service that takes us downtown on the weekends. But for some of us who are up on current events, Uber is also known for a series of allegations coming from passengers, drivers, and local and national governments. To begin our case analysis of Uber, we will begin with a new Uber driver. Meet John. John is looking for some extra money. He's looking for a low responsibility job that allows him to make his own hours. He hasn't graduated college yet, so he'd like to get a job with no education requirement. As he searches online, he comes across the Uber website. John meets all the requirements needed for an Uber driver, so he applies, and within a week, his background check is completed and he can begin his Uber driving career. After a while, John starts to read about certain incidents that other Uber drivers are experiencing.
Uber, once a scrappy startup, today worth more than major household names. Hertz, Campbell's Soup, Mattel. But here's the difference. Those companies grew up over decades. Uber, the on-demand car service, grew at lightning speed. In 4 years, worth $18.2 billion.
We're doubling, every 6 months, and really doing billions of dollars in transactions a year. The numbers get big quick.
That mega valuation has its perks, partnerships with giants like AT&T, and just this week, American Express.
One of the key principles we have is to go where the customers are. And in the last year, Amex card members spent hundreds of millions of dollars using Uber.
Now that Uber's playing in the major leagues, some of their challenges are unfolding on a bigger stage. First up, legal challenges. Just last week, the Virginia DMV issued Uber a cease and desist order, saying the company's violating taxi laws. How much of a risk factor would you say some of these regulatory issues are?
It's really common when we go into a city or when we really succeed in a city that the incumbents in the taxi industry are often trying to protect a monopoly that has been granted them by local officials.
You guys are almost launching a political campaign.
Well, look, we really started out as, you see with a lot of startups, sort of a bunch of techie kids sort of trying to make something really interesting happen. We have to tell our story and persuade politicians and city officials about why our story is important.
They're also under fire for aggressive business tactics.
If you call an employee at another company and say, hey, look, would you like to work for me? That's normal. But if that happens in the car service business, oh my God, the sky's falling.
At one point, a competitor accused Uber of ordering and canceling cars from a competing service in an effort to poach drivers. Uber has since apologized. Do you think when it comes to competing services that you guys are sometimes too aggressive with your business tactics?
Look, every once in a while, a team in Shanghai or a team in New York might get really aggressive about recruiting drivers onto the system, but at the end of the day, I think the company has really strong principles and we feel good about how we act in the marketplace.
With a mega valuation, a partnership with Amex, and playing both offense and defense in the game of tech disruption, Kalanick considers himself a problem solver as the company heads for prime time.
I have two lists. I have a list of all the crazy, interesting problems that I get to solve every day, or that need to be solved, let's say. And then I have the list of crazy, interesting stuff to invent.
Lori Siegel, CNN Money, New York.
These allegations are concerning and serious to John because he does not want these acts committed by others to reflect his business. One possible reason that Uber drivers are acting unethically is the fact that Uber drivers are actually classified as independent contractors and not employees. Independent contractors have a different relationship with management, which does not include any employee benefits like health insurance. Uber management has yet to consider the behavioral impacts of what not providing such benefits would do to the drivers. This could bring upon stress for the driver. This stress has a direct impact on the performance of the driver. The lack of healthcare and other benefits could lead the driver to have negative feelings towards the organizational climate. If there are no company policies regarding the driver's benefits and care, the organizational climate could suffer. The organizational climate could ripple across other drivers and impact the organizational commitment of the driver. The lack of employee benefits and care for their drivers could discourage the drivers' motivation and commitment to Uber.
Uber's reward and discipline structure is skewed and has little benefit for its employees. Uber's reward discipline structure consists almost entirely of discipline and neglecting any form of reward for drivers who are consistently meeting or exceeding their duties. Within their current structure, there is no career progression for the drivers. The lack of career progression could negatively impact an Uber driver's extrinsic motivation and the motivation to provide a quality service to the rider.
Another possible cause of unethical behavior is a lack of a performance management system. A formal performance management system can provide a sense of accountability for the driver and impact the behavior of the driver. A performance management system could also play part in the incentive and reward systems, allowing for drivers to be rewarded adequately. Including drivers in the performance management process can enhance perceived organizational support, which reflects the extent to which employees believe that the organization values their contributions and genuinely cares about their well-being. The feeling of achievement for good performance ratings will positively benefit the Uber driver. By improving motivation and job satisfaction, Uber drivers will feel a sense of pride in their job.
Currently, Uber has no way of reliably monitoring the drivers and ensuring they are conducting themselves in an ethical and professional manner. Uber is already managing the financial aspects of the job quite closely, but they seem to have foregone monitoring behavioral aspects. The lack of monitoring drivers by Uber can be pointed to the fact that drivers are classified as independent contractors rather than employees. Therefore, they do not require the level of employer monitoring that an employee does. If Uber drivers become classified as employees, they should take the opportunity to put more effort into monitoring employee behavior. For example, Uber could require that the drivers complete ethic and safety courses every 6 months to make sure drivers are educated on ethical behaviors and practices. Another solution for safety and unethical behavior prevention would include making the Uber app and a map app the only applications available to the driver while en route with the passenger. This would prevent the drivers from cold calling other companies, which has been an issue from Uber drivers. Not being able to access the telephone except in cases of emergencies would also prohibit cold calling and provide a safer ride and service. However, it is important to note that both of these solutions could have consequences. For example, some employees may drive with Uber specifically because they prefer having little boss oversight, and may be against the idea of each ride being recorded. Similarly, many Uber employees may park outside of busy areas known for contacting Uber, and may want to be able to use their phone while they wait for a ride. While these problems may deter some people from driving for Uber, the extrinsic rewards provided to employees for better safety practices would hopefully counterbalance this loss. Ultimately, it is hoped that these changes impact the driver's perceived organizational support. Uber monitoring rides and limiting phone access signals that the company cares about the driver's reputation and safety. Monitoring drivers could also increase employee engagement and enhance the driver's performance. The suggested changes would help Uber with strengthening the reputation of the company and their relationship with their drivers. Putting focus on the employee and the impact the driver's behavior can have on the overall success of Uber can help the organization itself grow and prosper. Ultimately, it is the drivers that make Uber the company it is, and all the changes must have the driver's well-being and best interests in mind. The suggested changes could help counteract the various complaints Uber has been receiving in the media and direct the organization to a place where the drivers are valued and appreciated.